Good morning, everyone. I'm Tony Mills from Energetic Wisdom. Today, I just want to talk about insomnia, which I think is quite common these days with the pace of life. I mean, it's a chronic sleeplessness, and of course, the diet is going to affect it. Alcohol will affect it. I mean, alcohol may put you to sleep, but very often you wake up in the middle of the night then. Lack of exercise can make a big difference. And of course, what's happening now is electronics, okay? Mobile phones, extreme teenagers have them under their pillow waiting for a call. So we have them next to our heads as alarm clocks. So that's just a tip of the iceberg with all that. So I'm not going to go into that today, but we've got to be aware now that electricity is increasing, so electromagnetic stress is increasing. However, in the background runs the feelings, and these are the ones that can make a big difference to us, because it affects the quality and the quantity of our sleep, worrying about things. If you go right back to the start, situations like being a prolonged labor, with your mother being in prolonged labor, it can be felt being in the womb. Even I've had a lot lately where they're picking up the parents' feelings while in the womb. If there's any danger right from that stage, okay, perceived danger. So in the womb, birth is, if there's a big problems with the birth trauma, childhood, all those can set us off and set us up rather for sleeplessness. And it may not come when you're younger, but certainly when you get older, when you slow down a bit, even you start to think more. So any shock, grief, or despair hidden in the subconscious mind can give you a state of orange or red alert. Okay, and then there's a strong need to stay awake and resolve issues of the day. The thing is, we're active during the day, and so we slow down at night. Then the mind goes and it tries to deal with the day's problems. And of course, the secret is to deal with the day's problems, and you won't have to worry about it. It might be said easier than said than done. It can also be the fear of the unknown or unseen danger, and that will again go back to things like birth and childhood, where there are any danger around. Then there's a fear. You set up a fear of the unknown, and I think lots of these things, like the fear of darkness, things like that, have started then. And to focus on past experiences of ourselves or others as well, can create a fear of the future. And then what do we have on that? What do we have to magnify that? Imagination. Imagination with something good is amazing. Imagination with something bad is a disaster. So to add the imagination on top of that, then it really is, it can become a big problem. And to quote somebody, Mark Twain said, I'm an old man and I've had a great many troubles, but most of them never happened, because most of them have been in the imagination. And that you'll find that you worry about something and it doesn't happen. And this happens more often than not. So we've got to start letting go of that and trusting. Trusting's a big deal, but trusting is amazing. Trusting in the universe can make a big difference to our lives. And there's also any past guilt. I'll give an example of guilt, really good one, is that I used to be a poultry farm manager, okay? I'm on a raw, I'm a raw food diet guy now. I'm more vegan, but the complete opposite now, because for what I experienced. However, for years, up till fairly recently, okay? So that's about 30 to 40 years. I'd had nightmares many nights of on the chicken farm, of losing chickens, a fire, a flood. And this was guilt of being in charge of these birds, because I'd sold my soul to the company because it's house and rent and rate free. So you can see how guilt came in there, and guilt, it was so strong in me, and so that affected me, and I had lots of nightmares. So that can go way back, our guilt. Guilt's a big deal because guilt seeks punishment. So we've got to start letting go of that, because it's been, okay? That's the crazy thing. All this has been, so we're looking back instead of being in the present. And there's a deep fear of letting go and surrendering to the old, there's an old survival instinct in us. Some of this can come from ancestral or past life, where something terrible may have happened. And so there's that survival instinct is built into us, I'm afraid. And this can come out when we're still, okay? We're active during the day and we don't have so much time to think about these things. And so it is a deep lack of trust in the process of life. And it's an inability to release the affairs of the day. It's a feel that you've got to hands on to control, or all hell will let loose. It's like being on a roller coaster and it's a white knuckle ride. Well, what is a white knuckle ride? It's control. And it's a matter of letting go of that. And this is where I work with. I help with to give you back the power to release this. I have a device called the Living Lens, which helps release these. And I can even work at a distance off from a photograph, especially with children. And we can start to release all these programs that we've inherited that we really don't deserve anymore. You know, it's pretty unfair really to carry all these when you don't need them. And the sleeplessness is telling you you're carrying things you don't need to carry, or you're worrying about the future when you don't need to. And you've added imagination to it to really create problems. We all have difficulties, but to worry about it, you'll know to worry about it doesn't make any difference. We can say that, okay, but we've got to start realizing that, and this is where I can help. So if you go to my website, energetic-wisdom.co.uk, you can get all information of how I work. And we can make it, it's time to make a big difference to your life. You don't need to suffer, and it doesn't need to go on. And it can make such a difference to the quality of life, because as you know, sleep is so important to us. That's where we revitalize ourselves and rebuild and recharge our batteries. So this is so important to deal with sleep. It's a big part. Think of, I'm not sure the statistics, but how much of our life we sleep or don't sleep. Okay, so I hope that's helped you, and don't be afraid to come back to me about anything. And by the way, don't lose any sleep of what I've talked about now. Okay, goodbye.